Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
It's a very good morning, everybody. Welcome along to Often Pacing on this Monday morning. It is great to have your company, Tim Walker, with you, and really big half hour on the way this morning. We've got Oli Cownie, we've got Matt Young back, and looking forward to having a chat to Ryan Bell as we build up to a big couple of days of Westbred Heats, Pinjarra today, into Gloucester Park tomorrow, and then all eyes will turn towards W Night, which is Friday week right here at Gloucester Park. And didn't we have a terrific weekend as well? Gloucester Park Friday night we'll dive into in a moment as well, and Never Ending on Saturday night, really announcing himself as the one to beat for the Eureka. But let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it, and it is great to have Oli Cownie with us on the program. Oli, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Tim. Looking forward to the great week of racing we've got ahead.
And Matt Young is back with us. Great to have you back on the program, Matt.
Yeah, morning to you, Tim, and good to be back.
Certainly great to have you back, and thanks to, as I mentioned, Glenn Moore and also Richie Bell filling in your shoes while you were away. Ollie, we spoke to Matt a little earlier on the Sports Daily about Never Ending. I think we have to start there this morning as we build up to the Eureka Saturday week. I want to get your thoughts on what he did Saturday night, his first look at Menangle, before we look locally, please.
He was just fantastic, wasn't he, really? Major Moth, I think. He's a favourite for the Len Smith Mile, which is the same night as the Eureka, and it's a big race, the Len Smith Mile. So for Never Ending to come from near last there, or he was last in the run, he copped a check at some stage, and then he just flashed home, and he was nearly powering past Major Moth on the line. So really, that was a huge statement he made there, and he stamped himself as the Eureka favourite now, I think.
Matt, is it very much the same thoughts for you? Do you think that he's the starting point now for the Eureka after what we saw on Saturday night?
I think so, and I think it just solidifies what we think about his speed. I think there's been a couple of times in WA where they've sort of had to drive him, I'm not going to say outside his comfort zone, but just where they have to put him into the race earlier than they would like, and he's just got such brilliance that he could win from nearly anywhere. But sometimes when you're a short price favourite, you've got that obligation to try and arrest the lead away. And I just think we got to see on Saturday night his speed, and saved up for one run. And he's as quick a horse as we've seen in WA for a very long time. And it was wonderful to see him get up the Menangle straight like he did, because I went into it thinking that this track could be perfect for a horse of his nature, size, and the way he gets over the ground. So it was just great to see that he was able to finish the race off so well.
It feels like everything has gone to plan for him so far. A couple of wins, obviously savaged the line in his final hit out here in the West before going to the East Coast. And then we saw on Saturday night he was able to savage the line against a very good horse that Ollie mentioned could very well be playing a very big part on the same program as the Eureka, that being in the Len Smith Mile. But on Friday night, just gone, we had a 9-event program here at Gloucester Park, headlined by the August Cup. Before we get your thoughts on horses to follow out of the August Cup, gents, I'll get a quick word on Artie by the Seaside and what she was able to do. Ollie, first and foremost, are we looking at not just a mare's free-for-all player, but perhaps here a legitimate open free-for-all horse that can take it up to the boys?
She was incredibly impressive there on Friday night. Obviously had gate one and was heavily supported late. I think there were probably a few people that had queries on whether she could take on the boys there and come out ahead, but she repelled the early challenge of Talks Up a Storm, which was a really strong challenge for 400 metres, and from there on in, she just really looked quite comfortable. She settled beautifully in the race, and when it came time to kick away, Denny had a hold of her on the corner, and she just kicked right away from them and looks to do it pretty comfortably. The margin wasn't huge in the end over Talks Up a Storm, just under a length, but she just looked to have a bit on them there, and nothing was really coming out of the pack to chase them down. So I thought that was an extremely impressive win, first time against the boys in this grade.
Anything more for you to add there, Matt?
No, not really. I thought one of the key elements out of Friday's racing, I thought was, I'm not sure whether the track had a bit more topping on it, or it just seemed to be playing a little bit on the slower side. They looked to be going a lot quicker than what the times actually say. So I think going forward, I'd be putting more of a tick and merit in the win of Artie by the Seaside for her performance, because I thought it looked like she had gone another couple of seconds quicker. So we know that she can go quicker over that distance, but as mentioned, she's a horse that's been able to repel the boys' challenge in the early stages and keep on going. So, really looking forward to what she's going to do heading towards the Mares Classic.
All right, let's turn our attention to some horses to follow out of Friday night. So, Matt, we'll let you lead off your horses to follow, please.
Johnny Lombo, I thought, so it's my first week back, obviously, so I liked the way that Johnny Lombo got through the line. I thought he was hitting the line really strongly on that occasion, and he's a horse that can go up and down the system, up and down the grade, so I think he could be one to follow when he just drops back maybe out of Friday night company, but he could be one to follow. I thought Lombo Mitchinson's performance was really good, had a crack for the front, ducked in behind the lead, pushed off and had a jostling battle with a lap to go and lost a little bit of ground on that occasion, made the ground up and was only beaten a very narrow margin by a very tough horse in Rattling Lily. So I thought the performance by Lombo Mitchinson was really good, and he's not out of place winning on a Friday night very soon. And My Ultimate Chevron hit the line really well in his race. He's one that I've sort of been putting crosses next to his name and suggesting that he's not going that well, but just seeing how unlucky he was on Friday night and the way he ran through the line, I thought, or hit the line, I thought he's heading in the right direction. So I think a win, or at least a competitive performance from him, is coming up very soon on a Friday night. All
right, Ollie, let's get your horses to follow.
First one I had was in race 2, and it was behind the very impressive Rattling Lily. She was just awesome there, winning, did all the work and proved too strong. Eden Rock was a horse that got shuffled back in the race a bit there and ended up having to come wide despite having the peg line draw at the start. Came wide and really powered into it late, probably just peaked on his run, but had every right to after coming that wide and sustaining a sprint. So I think Eden Rock, he's got good gate speed, so he's one that can bob up in a race soon when he draws a bit better than he has been. In race 7, I was really impressed by the way Two Bob Cracker went about it. Not a horse that's generally very well suited to sitting outside the leader, but battled on really well there. Probably was suited by the slower than usual tempo, but I thought was pretty good there. Man down, the winner's quite a nice horse as well. So Two Bob Cracker, when he's able to get a nice trail into a race, I think he can pop up at odds. And in race 9, I thought Soho Honey Rider, first up there for the Kim Prentice stable, was quite an eye-catching effort. Sat outside the leader, and I thought Lucy Kane had them on the corner, but kicked away, and the gap appeared for Soho Vesper Lind, who had the soft trip there. But Soho Honey Rider wasn't beaten far, 7 metres behind them in third, so I thought that was a good effort given they went 156. As Matt mentioned, it might have been a slow times night potentially with a few horses that looked to be running a bit faster than the time suggested.
All right, so that is Eaton Rock, Two Bob Cracker, Soho Honey Rider for Ollie, to go with Johnny Lombo, Lombo Mitchinson, and My Ultimate Chevron for Matt. All right, let's turn our attention to today at Pinjarra. Bumper program to look forward to down there with the 3-year-old Westbred Heats as the headline act. Ollie, we'll start with you because you are going to the opening event here for your first special.
I'm going with a horse here that's probably starting to run out of chances in Till the Sun Sets. Just beaten late last start by Sunny's Little Rose, who was able to come off the pegs at the right time and just napped it late. Think this time with Chris Lewis jumping aboard over the short course can step straight to the front and give them something to catch. Probably hasn't run its best races at Pinjarra, so that's a slight query. It seems to be better at Gloucester Park, but I'm hoping jumps to the front here and over the short course proves hard to catch there.
All right, you're going on to race 2?
On to race 2, yeah. We've got one here that will need a touch of luck, I think, in Black Samurai, but I think this horse is just quite easily the best horse in the race, and if he does everything right here, I think he'll be too good for them. Trailed up nicely behind, or ahead of Hot Rockefeller, beat that horse by 12 metres, and I think that horse goes okay too, so quite a sharp trial. Just needs to work away from the inside at the right time and hopefully proves too strong for them late there, Black Samurai.
Black Samurai in race 2, and then you're going to the middle part of the afternoon for your final special today.
Loctay, I've been so impressed by this horse this time in. Just been so good. Drawn outside some of the more inexperienced horses in this race here, and I think with decent gate speed can just push on to the top here and should prove extremely hard to catch. The obvious danger is Miss Hepburn, who's quite classy, but will need plenty of luck tucked away on the pegs there. And I think given that last start, Miss Hepburn found the front and Loctay was a super effort into third there behind them, I think Loctay on the front end this time can turn the tables and was really impressive when beating Naze Vero 2 back, ran through the line strongly. I think Loctay is a horse on the up and can win again today.
All right, so that is Till the Sun Sets in race 1, Black Samurai in race number 2, and Loctay in race 6. That's for Ollie today at Pinjarra. Let's go to Matt. And Matt, you're going early in the day for your first, and then we'll look a little later on. So your first comes up in race number 2.
Yeah, pretty much spot on to Ollie there with Black Samurai. I think if he does everything right, I think he'll win. He's got the best form in the race. I think he's got the most ability of the race. It's just his manners are a little bit of an issue. But I think with the barrier draw, you could be getting better than even money about him. And I think he's really the one to beat. So he'd be a straight-out proposition only, though. So I'd be... not saying go each way on him because he's either going to do everything right and win or gallop and probably run a place and stuck me in again for next up. Race number 9 on the program, I thought Wine Gum looks reasonably well placed. He's sort of caught my eye on a couple of occasions in WA through trials and even race performances, but I just think this is a nice drop in grade for him. The short course, he's got plenty of high speed. He can get a little bit keen in his races, so I think with a high-tempo lap race, it's going to really suit him. So happy to be with Wine Gum in race number 9. And race number 10, I was all over Caliente. I just really like this horse, and I really like this horse at 2,100 is probably more the statement I need to get across because he's just such a smart type. He's got so much high speed, and he normally begins quite quickly. So if Caliente can bounce on them early, there is a chance he could find the top if Blazing Reactor is just a little bit suspect away. So start will tell a tale, but I don't think he needs to lead to win with his high speed. So happy to be with him in race number 10. So those are the 3, Black Samurai into Wine Gum, into race 10, Caliente.
That is for Matt Young today. All right, Matt, I'm going to keep you going because we're turning our attention to Gloucester Park tomorrow night. Another marathon night to look forward to, and your first is coming up nice and early. Yeah,
they've been a bit rough on me, Tim. First 2 days back, 11 races for Monday and Tuesday, so... bit nasty, but race 2 tomorrow. Look, I think Goodfellas is, if he comes back and he's ready to go, he probably wins the race. But he's going to be quite short, in my opinion, because he's Goodfellas and he's a nice horse. So I like the way that Amazing American went 2 starts ago, and I thought he could use his gate speed early, get across to the lead, and I thought he could run a little bit of a cheeky race. I think more on the place prospect, but something small to win if he's the right sort of price. But I thought Amazing American in race 2, number 3, was the way to go there on an each-way basis. Could be better value than Goodfellas, who's going to be short. And in race number 5, Captain Sterling. He impressed me a lot in the running of the Pearl. He's got antics, that's for sure.
Yes.
He's got a lot of tricks. And, yeah, I'm sure there's been close to being a mutiny at On Edge Pacing over this horse, but he's a really, really talented type, and I think he can do some work in his races, and I think he can get the win here. So no doubt Dylan will want him to be doing absolutely everything right, and I think he'll be trying to get him to run a real strong, positive race in this event, and I think he can get the job done. So I was pretty keen on Captain Sterling race 5, number 5, to go along with each way race 2, number 3, Amazing American.
Yeah, I think he's got a stack of ability, Captain Sterling, and One thing for sure is if he puts it all together, he'll be winning some nice races. All right, Ollie, you're also going to go to race 5 for your first tomorrow night.
Saw things exactly the same way here. It was obviously poorly away last start and threw all chances away there, galloping. Really caught the eye, though, late when flashing through and wasn't beaten far at all. He's led and won before previously. I think he can lead again in this race with the stablemate drawn 1. So if he is able to lead Captain Sterling, he'll take a stack of beating there. And it's a nice race, so I do think we could probably get some value there. And El Jado is another one that I thought could probably figure in the money there, despite only having had 1 star. It was a pretty impressive winner there. So I think Captain Sterling can win and El Jado can be one for the minor money.
All right, and we wait until the last for your second special.
This one I'm hoping will be a little bit more value. Shahadi, Gary Hall Jr. jumped on last start and she got right back to last on the rails there and was just warming up to it late, and I think just an impossible task from last there. Gary Hall Jr. sticks here and she's fared a lot better from the barrier draws in Gate 5. She thinks she's a really good place chance there and some real knockout winning hope, I think, will be pretty big odds. So we play at one unit win, 9 place sort of thing, and hope for a bit of speed on so she can run into it late.
All right, so that is Captain Sterling from El Jado and Shahadi in race number 11 for Oli Cownie a little later on tomorrow night on the Gloucester Park program. Thank you, Ollie, for your time this morning. Great to chat to you once more, and we look forward to your company again next week.
Thanks, Tim. Looking forward to it.
There is Oli Cownie. And Matt, you'll be rocking and rolling down there at Pinjarra today. You won't be too far away from being on course, I wouldn't have thought, because we are just over 2 hours away until the first of 11 events on the program. Racing WA Harness X page will be the place to be, as it always is on a Monday.
Exactly right, and looking forward to a good day of racing, and with these heats of the W night coming up, looking forward to today and tomorrow's racing, which is going to be spectacular, Tim. Cheers.
All the very best there is Matt Young and Oli Cownie with their look at the next couple of days. Well, one man who's going to feature prominently over the next 48 hours is Ryan Bell in these Westbred heats. We'll have a chat to him on the other side of the break on Off and Pacing.
If you need a personal loan for most legal purposes, who do you see? If you need money for home improvements, for that swimming pool, for air conditioning, for that new kitchen, who do you see? If you need to consolidate your debts, turn multiple loans into one payment, who do you see? You want solar panels, new furniture or appliances for the house, who do you see? Steve Sell at Loans 123, loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
Astute breeders, behold a new era of stallion brilliance. Step into the golden age of racing with Leonardo da Vinci. A remarkable son of Hinchinbrook, Leonardo triumphed in the Group 2 Stud Stakes. Now he stands ready to elevate your breeding program for just $4,400. His first progeny, Golden Kathleen, is already lighting up the track, winning or placing in 4 out of her first 5 starts. The legacy of excellence is unfolding. Discover the future of thoroughbred racing. Visit goldfrontbreeding.com.au.
On Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Off and Pacing.
Great to have your company on this Monday morning on Off and Pacing as we build up to a really big couple of days. Pinjarra today and also Gloucester Park tomorrow night. And it's great to have Ryan Bell on the line to help us do that. Always great to have a chat to him. Good morning to you, Ryan.
Yeah, good morning, Tim and listeners.
Great to have you on the program once again this morning. Before we look forward, we look back to Friday night, and you put this one out on social media, on your Facebook and also X pages, that Who's the Dad, a terrific each-way play on Friday night, and you didn't let them down.
Yeah, well, I've been declaring him for a few runs since I've had him, and they haven't come up, and at least I've got it right at 50-1.
Exactly right. And did you manage to have a little bit of the 50-1 yourself, if you don't mind me asking?
No, Tim. I don't usually bet. I had my first bet on a runner at Bunbury the other day because I absolutely declared it, and it went woeful. So And it's safe to say no one spoke to me all the way home, and nor should they have.
So the cue back in the rack from a punting point of view.
Rack, yeah. I'm never doing it again. I've always been superstitious, and I tried to ignore it, and yeah, I copped it right up the you-know-what.
Right. Hey, just on Who's the Dad, in a nice patch of form at the moment, 2 of the last 3, and hasn't been too far away. So getting some just deserves now.
Yeah, he's always been a nice enough horse. I'm a bit on the fence with him still. He works like he should have just gone bang, bang, bang for me and ended up in free-for-all. But I think the biggest factor on Friday was Curly driving him with the left hand and an aggressive driver, because he seems to pull the mickey out of us around the last corner and just labours a bit. And I said to Curly, I said, whatever you do, make sure he's travelling and stand over him a bit. And he was travelling all the way, and he won quite convincingly, which was good.
You've got a few nominated for Friday night, including him in the $50,000 event that we've got to look forward to. How many are you hoping to have in that race?
Not sure, Tim. Who have I got? Max Better, Tiger Royal, and him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at this stage, all 3 of them will start if they get a start. But I don't really. I try and separate my horses as much as I can. So when I get a chance tonight to have a look at the noms, we'll go from there. All
right. Well, let's turn our attention to today then, and the 3-year-olds get their chance to qualify for W Night next week here, and the first of them we'll work through in race order if we can. Lucy Kane. So how did you come away from Friday night?
Yeah, she's come through good, but and I was quite happy with, she only got beat by the one that had the drop on her, and, in hindsight, she probably still should have won, but I think she still went as good as she can, and the promising part about her on Friday, she didn't paddle the last 100 metres like she has been, but she's completely outclassed today, so I haven't spoken to Curly, but I would like him to just go straight back and rail like a greyhound and see where she ends up.
All right, hopefully you'd be able to qualify there. One horse that should be able to qualify is Wave Rider. This was a writing-on-the-wall performance first up. You must have been really pleased with what you got from him behind clearly a very good filly.
Yeah, I was wrapped with his run. Denny read the race right. She could see Aiden's horse was in trouble and she had to go. We're just unlucky that Waterloo followed us everywhere we went and didn't pull out until the furlong from home, So, but he was very good. Come through it even better, and I don't think it's a gimme today. Pete's Honour's got good gate speed. Aiden's too might fly the arm and take their chance. So. But in saying all that, his class should get him home, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should. And so from there, clearly an eye to Friday week if you're able to get the job done. And just the early stages of the campaign, everything seems to be on track for what's going to be hopefully a lucrative couple of months for him, because we know that he has got a stack of ability.
Yeah, everything so far since he had his little let up has been perfect, touch wood, and hopefully it stays that way.
Okay. Atlantic Gems, so was able to return a winner first up. How has she come through that first up run ahead of, again, what's going to be a tricky assignment today? This is an intriguing third heat for the fillies.
Yeah, it is a tricky heat. The draw's real tricky. I'm not sure if Danny goes 3 back the fence hoping that Aiden will hold up, or if she stays in the move line and gets around them early and hopefully sits on exceptional armour. But I'm pretty confident she'll qualify, and it actually wouldn't surprise me if she won the race. I think she's quite a good filly.
You've had a lot of time for her, haven't you, along the way?
Yeah, she's very good. She's very strong as well. She won quite easy first up. She was just boring up the track a bit, just first time at the track for a while, and it was the perfect trial for today, and her work behind the scenes. She's been matching Wave Rider still every step of the way. So her form guide's pretty good from track work to her first up run. Her form guide's pretty good leading into this. But Danny's going to have to really think about what she's going to do to get into the top 4 because it's very tricky.
And just a word, Bonnie Amore, who we get to see for the first time in 6 weeks.
Yeah, she's a hard one, Tim. I'm not sure where she's at. She's not a very good worker. She's not toning up like I would like her. I thought she was going to be my Oaks filly outside of Atlantic Gem, but she's just not bringing it to the races. But in saying that, going into this race a bit blind and more hopeful than what we are confident.
Okay, all right. So that's today. Now, you've got half a dozen 2-year-olds in these heats tomorrow night. The first of them, it is crunch time. So how did you come away from Bunbury?
I told you at the start, Tim, and you had to bring it up again.
Yes, yes. What's it looked like since?
We're pretty sure that he dogged up on having go straights on.
Yep.
It's the first time I worked him in the go straights on the Wednesday, and he worked like Jack the Giant Killer and took him to Bunbury, and he must have got a bit of mud under his armpits, and they burnt him up a little bit, and I reckon he just put the cue back in the rack because he is that type of horse. He gets a scratch on him and he wants to lay down for a week. So, he'll probably lead early, and it's up to Aidan what he does. But I'm pretty confident he'll qualify.
Okay. And obviously you've got the informed Sebastian James in that heat. So your next one is Wicked Hustler in Heat 2 for the boys. So we get to see Wicked Hustler for the first time in a couple of months. So how is Wicked Hustler going behind the scenes?
Yeah, no, it's just come up a bit too early for him. He's probably lucky that he's working good enough, but fitness-wise, he's too far behind, and he'll run an honest race. But yeah, I think he'll struggle a bit.
Okay, all right. Now, the second heat for the fillies is a really good one. Clearly Better Get On Pip has got runs on the board, but Bullshark Betty, Delulu drawn underneath you. This is a good heat, and Ruby Lavera, who was able to just get Better Get On Pip in the closing stages of the Diamond. So it feels like a loaded heat, this one, and qualifying would be a good result.
Yeah, I think so. She's just performed a bit unders her last two. I just haven't been happy with the way she's finding the line, Tim, and we run bloods and everything after the last start, and we can't fault her health-wise, and so we've just changed the training up a bit. I've been galloping her, and because she's such a big gross filly, been galloping her a bit and just to try and switch her on, and it seems to be working. A few gallop runs before she had a hobble run last Wednesday, and she actually hit the line really good in her hobble run. So, look, I'm not sure if she can cross the 2 underneath. I'm sure Curly will want to have a crack. Yeah, look, at her best, she'll definitely either lead and win and qualify, or even if she has to sit in the breeze, she still should qualify. But again, we're going into this race more hopeful that we've switched her back on than what we are confident.
Okay, all right. It is a good heat, that fillies heat, race number 6 tomorrow night. And through your last 3, so race 7 is the third heat for the boys. Control the Room gets the draw. Do you expect Control the Room to be very hard to beat?
Yeah, I think so. His 2 runs back have been pretty good. 3 runs, sorry. His run in the Pearl Heat, just forgive and forget, like he was just off the track, and they controlled the race up front in a 6-horse field. And but I'd be pretty disappointed if he didn't get the job done. Okay,
and Copperhead Lady, well, it was there for all to see in the Diamonds. Obviously, Rainette has drawn barrier number 1 tomorrow night, and it makes this race really interesting. But do you feel the best version of Copperhead Lady is still good enough to win this race?
100%. I think I drove her in trials 10 days ago, and she just felt terrific against older horses, and that was without her blinkers on. And yeah, I always thought she was good, and then in a trial the other day, I was like, well, I think you might be a bit better than good. She's just doing it so easy, and yeah, nothing seems to be phasing her at the moment. And once again, I handed the reins on a platter to Aidan, and he stuffed it up.
Good morning, Mr. De Campo.
Sorry, I had to say that.
Can he so you expect he'll redeem himself tomorrow night with this very good filly?
Yeah, I think so, Tim. The good part with her going forward is you can just drive her to how the race presents itself. She's so nice to drive, and even Aidan said she's just so nice to drive. And her galloping the other day was just her wanting to put the race on and do it. Like, she was just that well. And Aiden said she just, he grabbed up on her because he didn't want to keep going forward, and she didn't like it. And when she galloped, she just kept panicking because she's never galloped before. So, and she went around at Byford with no pins and other and felt safe as. So we just put it down to that she was just very well and a bit above herself and wanted to get on with it and didn't like being restrained. So, he can just drive the race how it's run, and I think she'll get the job done.
Terrific. Hey, great to chat to you this morning. We've run a little bit past 10 o'clock, but if we are going to do it, it's chatting to someone like you, especially with a really high-quality team over the next 2 days. Thanks for your time this morning. Good luck down there at Pinjarra and also tomorrow night.
Appreciate it, Tim. Thanks, mate.
There is Ryan Bell with us on the line. Great to run through all of his runners as we build up to 2 big days of Westbred heats. As I said, we've run a little bit past 10 o'clock, but thank you for your company this morning on Off and Pacing. We have had a great deal of fun chatting to Matt and Ollie and also Ryan. It'll be up on the podcast very shortly, tabradio.com.au, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. As I mentioned, Racing WA Harness page for full coverage of Pinjarra today with Matt Young, also here tomorrow night and then into Friday night as well, where we've got the Binshaw. I'll leave you in the very capable hands of Leah Ernest for the beginning of race day. Look forward to your company again on Off and Pacing next week and more immediately on the Sports Daily tomorrow morning.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.